I'm Amberly, and this is a place to be for a healthy body, mind, and spirit. And today we're going to focus on using the momentum that we have this time of year. So it's fall in the Northern Hemisphere. And this season brings a lot of opportunity to process changes in our lives. And processing change involves grieving. So this is a time of year that we're really invited to kind of sit with grief and allow grief to help us move forward, help us change, help us process. And our lungs are really closely associated with this process. So in traditional Chinese medicine, fall is associated with grief and with the lungs and with the metal element. So we're just going to be really allowing our bodies to do what they need to do this time of year. So to do that, what we're going to be basically doing in today's meditation is getting out of our own way. So any parts of us that are resisting this grieving and changing process, we're going to kind of let that go so that we can be aligned with what's going on internally and externally this time of year. So to start, we're just going to be clearing out a fear. And what's coming up for us to clear is the fear of seeing clearly. So you might notice, looking back throughout the last few days, that instead of kind of taking time to sit with how you're feeling or be still, you might distract yourself by maybe checking Facebook or reading a book or cooking for yourself or whatever it is. We're just kind of keeping ourselves a little bit too busy so that we don't really tune in with what's going on. So we're just going to clear out that fear of seeing clearly, that fear of being present with ourselves. So to do that, let's take a few deep breaths. Allow that fear to kind of come forward. The fear of really checking in with yourself, the fear of really knowing what's happening. And we're just going to tap on the head, heart, and abdomen, taking some deep breaths, allowing that fear to be released. Letting go of the fear of clarity, fear of tuning in with yourself. Tapping on the head, heart, and abdomen. One more deep breath. Then just noting if it's any easier to be a little more still, a little more present. And then we're going to work with our lung and large intestine meridians. So those are the two organs and energy systems that help us with this grieving process. So as we breathe in, we're accepting the new. As we breathe out, we're grieving and releasing the old. So we're going to hold up two fingers, one to represent each meridian, lung and large intestine, and just putting it over the diaphragm. And just breathing deeply, not worrying about where the physical location of these meridians are or how this is going to work. Just letting your body do what it knows how to do. Tapping on the head, the heart, the abdomen. Letting your lungs and large intestine help you grieve, process, move forward. Breathe in, breathe out. Making space for the new by grieving the old. One more deep breath. And then we're going to move to the heart. And we're just starting this process of grieving. So we're kind of jump-starting this whole processing that we need to go through by starting with the heart and just clearing out any grief in the heart. So it doesn't have to be about anything in particular. We don't have to get more specific. We're just going to start brushing over the heart, taking some deep breaths, collecting up any grief that's ready to be released. And then following your own intuition, either brush it up and breathe it out, or brush it down to the diaphragm to be digested and processed. So let's just take a few deep breaths doing this brushing. I'm going to brush down, so if you can't decide, go ahead and brush down with me. collecting any grief from the whole heart center, not just the physical heart. Jump-starting our processing of grief. And then as you're ready, tapping on the head, the heart, and the abdomen. Breathing deeply. Head, heart, abdomen. One more deep breath. Head, heart, abdomen. And then the real processing and the real kind of opportunity of this season is going to be after the video ends, and it's going to be an invitation for you to be willing to pay more attention to what's coming up to be released. So anytime you feel like you might be kind of reaching for a habit, even if it's a good habit, going for a run or whatever it is, just noting that it might be an opportunity to actually stop for a second and take a few deep breaths so that your breath really support and help you here. And just see if something's trying to be released. See if there's any grief that's trying to come up. And the challenge and the invitation is just to let that happen. So we might be conditioned to avoid feeling how we're feeling. Grief can be hard. But instead, this is an invitation to really let it come through. So this is really an invitation to cry. So I'm inviting you to join me and all of us this season in crying when you want to cry, just letting it come up and letting it out, and let that be joyful. Let that be a good thing. So I hope you enjoyed that, and I wish you the best in embracing all aspects of yourself through embracing tears. All the best.